Peep the hat. What's good, y'all? We are currently in the stew. It's Monday, July the 7th, so I'm a little bit late on my usual like Thursday, Friday videos, but I was in Mexico with uh, my brother Ty. We were just like kind of spending 4th of July out there, um, getting some sun and relaxing and stuff. When I think back to, it's funny because last year I was in Houston and I held a 5K event, and it was a good event. People came out. Right after the event happened, Hurricane Beryl hit Houston the day after the 4th of July. And it was just calamity. And I remember how I felt in that moment. I was like, I'm a little bit stressed about the business. Money's a little bit tight. We'll see what happens. But I just was like, all right, keep trudging forward, even with all the calamity that was happening around me. And I did, and I made it to another year where this year I got to be in the sun for the 4th. Still very much was on that trip and was stressed, a little bit more stressed than I had been recently, just because like we're getting to that fall period. Like next month is usually the month where shit be hitting the fan with the business. Me and PTSD. I moved into my warehouse, sold all of my shit like 3 years ago or so. I had a dark period last year. Had to move back from Houston to Maryland, um, end of July, early August. Ugh, I'm getting EBGB just thinking about it. But the beautiful thing that is today is July the 7th. I have a full month and I control the outcomes of the world that I want to experience. Because ultimately, 4th of July will come again next year and I will continue to run this business. Like things will not change. I'm still going to be doing what I'm doing, which is what I love, which is running They. What will change though is I don't want to crash this August. Don't want to crash this fall. I don't want to have those peaks and those valleys. I want to try to stay as consistent as possible. So I think in order for me to mitigate that happening, I want to focus on the core competencies of what we're doing in terms of selling, marketing, and our community activations. So I think an update for you guys is I was on the plane back and I was really contemplating our 10K Cleats initiative, which is an initiative that me and Ty started where our goal is to provide 10,000 pairs of cleats to children in underserved and low income communities throughout the United States and abroad because both of us were given so many opportunities through playing the sport of football and we want to pay it back, and the easiest way to do so is to provide children with cleats so they can just go outside and play, or they can go in their backyard, because that's what I did when I got my first pair. I was in the backyard with my brother every day. He was the quarterback, I was the receiver. We'd go to the park. I literally wore those cleats till they were like raw down to the nubs, and that's what stopped me from doing dumb shit, or like will potentially stop kids from getting into situations that they're not supposed to be in. Initially, I thought that we were gonna use some of the sales from They, get these big donors and like do this big grandiloquent thing, but it takes a long time to do something big like that. So I just want to start with first principles. So I'm going to start reaching out to people on social media and marketing to let people know that like, hey, we're accepting cleat donations. If you have a lightly worn pair of cleats or a new pair of cleats that you don't use, send it to here in this warehouse, and I'm going to start to store those cleats, and then we're going to start to reach out to organizations, community centers, schools, places that might need cleats for kids. So we can just start keeping a counter of like, today, this week we gave away 10 cleats, this week we gave away 20, so that when the time does come for us to eventually make our own cleats, because that was the big vision for us to produce our own cleat and kind of do like a business model similar to Tom's, where for every cleat that we would sell, we would give away a cleat as well. But that's big picture thinking. But first principles, people have cleats that are lightly worn. People have cleats that their kids don't wear anymore. There are companies out there that have an excess of cleats that they'd be willing to give away. So why don't we just start to get those cleats and give them away to people and fulfill the promise that we made last February when we released the My Cause My Cleats initiative that we promised to do. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna start that because I definitely feel like we've been doing community stuff. We've been, tapping in with folks on social media, but giving back, I really want to start to like double down on that. Because whenever I give back, even when in times of calamity or stress, it always pays me back tenfold in the long run. It allows me to make it to another year of being in business and just doing the things I love, you know? So, like, last year, Hurricane Barrel hit. I literally took the food that I had made, the remainder of it from my 5K run event, as well as the funds that we had raised from the 5K, and I just went on the street at I went on the street. There's one person in the warehouse right now. It's pretty late. He must have a deadline to hit. But I went on the streets of Houston and I literally passed out food because there was no gas. There was no nothing. Like a lot of the unsheltered people were displaced and they didn't have food. So I made some torch mac and cheese. I made some torch chicken, green beans, and had a Hawaiian roll. And everybody was so grateful for the food that I gave them. And it really like made me feel good about what I was doing. So I want to continue to do things that fulfill me and make me feel good because in turn they help other people. So that's the big plan. This week is a short week. I have my family reunion in Cleveland at the end of this week, so I have to fly out on Thursday. I have to book my flights to actually. And then next week we have Mafia Con in Buffalo. It's like Comic Con, but for the Mafia, the Bills Mafia fan base. But yeah, I got to make the most of like these 3 days. Today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I have class all day on like Thursday or Wednesday or something like that, which will be fun. I'm going to try to really start honing in on my Goldman Sachs class that I'm in so I can benefit from what I'm learning because I kind of have been going through the motions if I'm being real. I've been like doing the coursework, engaging when I'm in class, but in terms of like really taking what they're teaching me and applying it directly to my business, like bar for bar, that's where I've been slacking. But it's been making me more aware of the things in my business that I need to improve, which is good. So maybe like I can start to take what I'm learning and apply it to a friend's business and my business. Like sit down and just have a workshop with a friend here and there and see if I can really teach someone what I'm learning because um, that'll display mastery or it'll force me to start to really understand it from a fundamental perspective rather than a conceptual. I think that's what I'll do. I'll do it with one of my friends that has a training business. But yeah, other than that, that's how I'm feeling. Doing pretty well mentally. Um, I've been like getting good workouts in. I'm about to start training for my marathon literally tomorrow. It's gonna be the first day I'm gonna throw on my running shoes and go on a nice long run, a little 3 miler probably. um, Feeling pretty good though, honestly. Yeah, I think this fall is gonna be great. We're gonna make a ton of money. We're gonna have a ton of fun, have a ton of impact with what we're doing with the brand. Being in being in Buffalo, we're gonna maximize that and like we're literally gonna like skyrocket everything that we're doing because I've been planning and I know exactly what we're gonna do, where we're gonna be, how we're gonna do it, and I have the vision for what that's gonna look like. And all that's left for me to do is to go out there and execute. I have the resources, I have the ability, I have everything that I need. Just have to make sure that I have the belief in myself to execute on those things. So I feel like I say that every call or every video that I make, but you really do gotta just like remind yourself every day to believe, because me saying it out loud enough times, it starts to become reality for me, and I start to really believe that the things that I'm saying and the things that I'm doing are one. The thoughts that I'm thinking are one. They're not separate entities. I don't have to do first and then believe. I have to believe first and then do because that's how everything comes to fruition. So that's the update. I'm hoping to probably put out another video before I go to Cleveland on Friday. So you'll get an update of what I've done in the last 3 days or so. Um, but yeah, appreciate y'all for tuning in and following me on this journey. I think like maybe video views haven't been too crazy the last 4 or 5, but I really don't care. I think I've gotten like 53 views, 102 views, 25 views, 60 views. But if you're watching this, I really do appreciate you. I want you to know that I'm building something that's going to be legendary. So these videos, we're going to look back on them and be like, dang, he was crazy, but he was right. Yeah, for sure. And then I'm gonna look back on these videos and be like, I was crazy, but I was right for sure. But I appreciate y'all and I love all of y'all for tuning in, even if it's one person here. If you made it to the end of this video, just leave me a comment. Let me know what your name is, what you're passionate about, and what you think about what I'm doing, honestly. I would love your opinion. But whether it's the day or the nighttime, make sure that you have or have had or are having a great day on purpose and be the difference. I'll catch y'all later. That's what this shirt says right here. It says be the difference in Chinese. Deuce.